Hello everyone, welcome to today's video on solving multi-step equations. So at this stage we've already learned how to solve pretty much all types of equations, linear equations that are out there. Sometimes we need to distribute, sometimes we need to combine like terms, sometimes we need to move all the variables to one side of the equation because there's variables on both sides. Today we're just putting all of that together. So general rules to apply to think of when we're trying to solve multi-step equations. First thing we want to do if we see some equation like this, a good first thing to do always is going to be distribute if we need to. So if we have these parentheses, we have a coefficient, distribute the coefficient to the terms in parentheses if that applies. Then we might have like terms on the same side of the equation. In those situations, then it's best to simplify then and combine them together by adding. But remember, we can only do that if we have like terms, like the same variable, on one side of the equation. If we have like terms on different sides of the equation, then we need to either add or subtract to move all the variable terms to one side. Okay, because if we cross that equal sign, then we need to add or subtract. You can't just combine the things. And then lastly, we need to undo in order to isolate. So once we get a simplified equation with variables on one side, then we can undo or invert what's currently happening to the variable in order to isolate it and get it all by itself. Okay, and in general key concepts, we know when we're solving equations, what we do to one side of the equation, we always have to do to the other, and we are always able to check our work by substituting our solution into the original equation. So today, let's start with one example. We have this complicated equation, 2 minus the quantity 2 times x plus 4 equals 5x plus 18 minus x. So this is a long, complicated equation. You cannot get the answer in your head, but we can do it as long as we just go through step by step. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, I see parentheses. I want to take care of them by using the distributive property. Something that makes this tricky here, though, is I have 2 minus 2 times the quantity x plus 4. So some of us might think, oh, well, 2 times 2 is 0, so that's just 0. And then I have like 0 times x plus 4. But we cannot do that because order of operations tells us that we definitely multiply and deal with parentheses before we add or subtract. Okay, so here we're going to need to understand this as either 2 minus 2 times the quantity x plus 4, or I think for situations like this, it really is best to rewrite this minus 2 as adding a negative 2. Okay, and then we can pretty clearly see this coefficient. We have negative 2 is getting multiplied by x, and then negative 2 is getting multiplied by 4. Then we're going to add 2 to that. If you understand it as subtraction, that's kind of fine, but you have to distribute the subtraction sign to both terms. So it's probably easiest here to not make a sign error, to rewrite that subtraction as adding the opposite, adding a negative 2. Okay, so at this stage I have 2 plus, that's not getting touched at all. Negative 2 times x, that's just negative 2x, plus negative 2 times 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Okay, so that's what we get on the left-hand side. We didn't touch the right-hand side, so I'm just going to bring everything down and rewrite it. Now I see I have some like terms on the same side of the equation, so I want to take care of those. On the left-hand side, I have a positive 2, and then I have a negative 8. Those are getting added together. So I'm going to do 2 plus negative 8, that's negative 6, and then I still have negative 2x plus that. On the right-hand side, I have a 5x, and then here I have minus x. Okay, I could think of this as adding a negative x, or this is a negative 1x. We know if we just have x, the coefficient there, it's a hidden 1, because multiplying a number by 1 doesn't change it. Okay, so 5x minus x minus 1x plus negative 1x, all the same thing. These combine to be 4x. And then we bring down our plus 18. Then at this stage, we want to get all the variable terms to one side of the equation. I like to try to get rid of the negatives because then we just have positive numbers and that's always better. So I'll rewrite this equation here. Negative 2x plus negative 6 equals 4x plus 18. I want to get rid of a negative 2x, I can get rid of or undo this negative 2x by adding 2x to both sides, because negative 2 plus 2 is 0, right? So this is going to go away then. I have negative 2x, positive 2x, those will cancel away, and I will just get negative 6 on the left-hand side. When I do that on the right-hand side, I have 4x plus 2x. Okay, so those are going to combine. We combine those like terms to be 6x, and then bring down the plus 18. We're almost there. Now this is like a standard two-step equation. We want to undo to isolate. X is being multiplied by 6, and then we're adding 18. We want to get x all by itself, so we need to get rid of that plus 18. How do we undo adding 18? We subtract 18, exactly. So I'm going to rewrite the equation, subtract 18 from both sides to keep it balanced, and I will get negative 24 equals 6x. Finally, x is currently being multiplied by 6. I'm going to do that by dividing both sides by 6, and that's going to give me the final answer, x equals negative 4, because negative 24 divided by 6 is negative 4, and then 6 divided by 6 is 1, so we just get x. Okay, great. So now we're going to try like a step-by-step you try. So I'm going to have you do it, but we're going to do it like one step at a time. So here I have 6 times the quantity x minus 4 plus 2 equals 4 times the quantity 2x plus 1. Okay, step number 1 is we need to distribute. We have parentheses with a coefficient out front on both sides of the equal sign. So we're going to need to distribute our 6 to the x and to our minus 4, and then also distribute the 4 to the 2x and the 4 to the 1. So go ahead and do that, and then tell me what's the next line going to be after I distribute. So you should have gotten 6x minus 24, or plus a negative 24, plus 2 on the left-hand side, because we're just pulling down that plus 2. That's a really important thing to know, that we are not distributing the 6 to the 2. Because it's not in parentheses, so we do not distribute the 6 to the 2, it's just the terms in parentheses. And then on the right-hand side, we have 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times 1 is 1. Awesome, we've distributed. Now, is there anything we need, any like terms we need to combine? On the right-hand side, we're good, but on the left-hand side, I have a minus 24, or remember, we can think of this as adding a negative 24, and then I have a plus 2, so yes, I have some like terms to combine on the left-hand side. Please do that for me and tell me what the new line is going to be. So negative 24 plus 2 is equal to negative 22. So we get 6x plus negative 22 equals 8x plus 4. Now, fairly simplified, but we have variables on both sides of the equation. So we want to get all the variable terms to one side of the equation. So then we're on the same page here. Let's try to get rid of this 6x. Right, so we want to get rid of the 6x, move it to the other side, and only have variables on the right-hand side of the equation. Okay, so show me the next line, once I have gotten rid of that 6x. So to get rid of a positive 6x, we need to subtract 6x from both sides, because then we'll have 6x minus 6x. 6x minus 6x is 0x, which is just 0, so that goes away. And on the left-hand side, we get negative 22. On the right-hand side, we also have to subtract 6x to keep it balanced. 8x minus 6x is 2x. So then we get 2x plus 4 on the right. Now we're down to a two-step equation. X is being multiplied by 2, and then we're adding 4. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish this off. Solve this two-step equation now. Both steps to give me what is x equal to. Okay, great job everyone. So you should have gotten x equals negative 13. In order to do that, we would need to subtract 4 from both sides of the equation in order to get only 2x, only the x is on the right-hand side, and then x is being multiplied by 2, so we undo that by dividing by 2, and negative 26 divided by 2 is negative 13. Definitely have to watch out for negatives here. And then I checked my work over on the right-hand side. You can see I rewrote my original equation. I substituted in negative 13 for x, and then I just simplified, and on the left-hand side I got negative 100, and on the right-hand side I got negative 100, so I get negative 100 equals negative 100, so I'm correct. So it doesn't really get harder than this. We just have to take our time and go step by step. Great job, everyone.